So there's this thing that happens in Christian world all the time, and it makes me nuts. And it really boils down to thinking that God works one particular way. And for some reason that we all do this, or at least we all have to fight against it. And it can look one of two ways. Either it's you think that the way God works with you is the way God works, and anybody doing something different that doesn't look the same is wrong, or maybe you're on the other side of it and you see somebody else and you're convinced that God's working there and you say, so the way God works with them is the way God works. And since that's not how it is for you, then God must not be working with you. And this is just, I don't know, we're making such a tiny version of God when we do this. God is infinite and he can be unique with 8 billion people at a time. It's that's a thing that a human can't really conceive of, but God's a bit more than us. And it's just some examples of this that I've been seeing a lot lately. One that jumped out at me earlier this week, there was a thing at my church. We were doing this whole big worship event, and there was one song that was playing. It was "Same God" by, I think that's Elevation Worship. And at one moment in there, there was a person on this side of the stage who's like, as she's singing, she's on her knees and eyes closed. She may have been crying, hands raised. She's this very reverent worship thing going on. She's all humbled and broken and all these Christian terms that we put with that. But then at this very same moment that that's happening on one side of the stage, on the other side is another singer who's over there singing the same exact lyrics, "You are the same God," and throwing down like she's in a rap battle. She's like, "You are the same God." And just the contrast in those jumped out at me because like so many people would pick one or the other. That it's like, oh, this girl on her knees is really reverent and worshiping, and this is what worship looks like. And that other one is, I don't know, somehow being disrespectful. Or some people who just with a different personality say, this girl who is fired up and passionate is the one that's worshiping, and that one over there is somehow different. I don't know. She's doing a different thing. And but we're so inclined to pick one or the other. And that's just a worship thing. Honestly, even the fact of the song I'm talking about. Like some people would say, "Oh no, that music isn't real worship. It should be old-fashioned hymns." Or some people would say, "No, it's got to be this kind of stuff and you need some fire and oomph to it." And we tend to want to draw lines, and we always want to say, this is good, this is not. And God is, I don't know, he's more diverse than that, I suppose. Like, and it comes up in more than just like the worship was one example. I see it with kind of the different people within a church or Christian organization, that it's like, oh, it can be that the people who are on staff, the people who are full time in this, those are the real ones. Those are the serious committed. Those are the hardcore Christians, the ones that God's really working with and using, and those are the ones whose their lives are really committed to Jesus. And these other people who like they just come and they're volunteers and they serve maybe on a weekend when they can and stuff, like they're junior varsity or something. Or sometimes we see it the other way around. And it's like those people who are getting paid to do it, I mean, who knows how sincere they are. They're just in it for a paycheck. And it's the volunteers who show up and give of their time freely are the real sincere and devoted ones. And like, we want to pick sides. And I see it sometimes people who are in it going that like the people who are doing it my way are the real ones and the other people are posers. But then I see just as many people like on the outside looking in saying, oh my goodness, those people are the real ones and I'm not like that, so I must not really have a relationship with Jesus, or God could never use me because I'm not that. And please stop both of these. This is not how God works, okay? There's so much throughout the New Testament, but it's not even just the New Testament. You can find a lot of this in the Old Testament, that God uses different people different ways. Like, God did amazing things through Abraham, but didn't do anybody else the same way. Joseph was incredible. Moses, Elijah, Noah, all these people have huge things that they did, and no two stories are the same. They don't look at all the same. And that is part of the point. That's why God gave so many stories, to show that he does so many things. And different people, he made us different. Like, he could have made us all the same if he wanted to do the same thing in everybody, but he doesn't. He made us all different. And there are a lot of different people out there that he still wants to reach. And so he needs different people doing different things to reach all of those people. That's how the body of Christ works together to change the world.